the start. And we can see now ESC over to the blue side, still taking away the Twisted Fate from Mickey.
Yeah, and I do really think you have to see the Varus ban here from the likes of Afreeca. They could just try and take the Ashe away yet again. Ashe, Bard, and Nidalee were their bans in game number 1. And
ESC
actually,
are going to ban it.
Yeah, ESC are going to be the ones banning it in a bit of a surprise. I wonder if they're still going to ban the Vladimir.
They could be looking for that one for themselves, perhaps.
Could be trying to first pick it.
Afreeca taking their time with this second draft. I think seeing the Varus banned out kind of threw them off a little bit. But it will be Bard yet again, so keeping the same ones. Last time on blue, they banned Nidalee.
Playing with fire, though, and actually ESC is going to be the ones banning out the Ryze. So they're either very confident that they have a viable Vladimir counterpick that they are comfortable taking on the blue side, or they're just going to first pick the Vladimir. We're going to have max 1 jungler banned in this draft, so the jungle priority not very high for a first pick, and it's going to be Azir.
Okay, so Nidalee makes it through.
Yeah, they're going to have first pick Vlad because why not? All junglers are available to them, and the Azir that fell all the way through the picket ban in game number 1 banned out by Afreeca here in game number 2. So the onus now on Mickey to have an answer to the Vladimir. Now we've seen the Cassiopeia come back even in post-rework state.
Yeah.
And especially because the Miasma does stop the Protobell engage, it can be effective.
Still playing around with this one. They're looking at the Elise, even though the Nidalee is available, so did receive a slight nerf on this patch. The passive range for the Hunt is reduced, so you don't get nearly as much move speed, or as
basically
much range
at all
for your
times.
move speed.
Yeah, basically at all times.
Yeah, went from like 5,500 on a Hunter target to like 15 or 1,400 now.
Yes.
It's pretty absurd. They're going to go with Kindred and the Karma yet again, so it could be a flex for SnowFlower, or Mickey could just take it for the second time.
Yeah, very interesting. Now, ESC did have success with the Elise, but considering this is probably a mid lane Vladimir, considering that Crazy's still hovering over the flash on the top side, which when you would normally have Ghost, if they were pretty much committed to putting up there, you usually see it reflected in the summoner spells. So what are they going to do? Probably, I would say Rek'Sai here would be a better option. They could take the Caitlyn and then just play around the pool. But the Sivir does synergize better with the Vladimir if you want to engage. Tempt already on Ghost Flash, so it's definitely going mid lane unless something really out of left field happens in Afreeca's draft here.
They're mind gaming them.
Maybe they are.
Well, it will be the Nidalee for Bless in the jungle.
Now, the mid lane Karma is going to be good against the Vladimir just because you get the shield and the kiting ability, so Tides of Blood not going to be hitting for very much actual HP if he does get in, and then you can just run away from him as fast as you possibly can.
Well, we didn't see the Lucian last time as Sangyoon decided to go for the Jhin, but they did hover it in game 1 after Sivir was taken by ESC. Looks like they might go for it this time. They will, and it's going to be Swain yet again.
This time, the Swain picked first once more, and that means, is Echo the answer that ESC has to this? I really don't think it should be the Echo. Play something that can actually all in the Swain effectively, especially in the earlier stages of this game. You could take the Trundle and just try and wail away on him. You could also take the Fizz. Now, ESC has been playing Fizz recently, and this is probably going to be the last patch that they can play top lane Fizz on, considering the nerfs.
Yeah, he's getting nerfed pretty hard in 6.12. Really are thinking about this one, but would have to be the full tank Fizz for the front line.
I just don't know why you wouldn't take Maokai here. You just have so much better engage with the Sivir ultimate, and you can have the Vlad follow up.
Yeah, and his nerfs on this patch weren't too crazy, but it will be a last-second flip to Braum, and then Fizz in the top for Crazy.
It would be a struggle in the laning phase, obviously, against the Swain. It wouldn't be the most pleasant experience, but in the late game, when you're actually trying to have your Vladimir and your Sivir do as much damage as possible, just the setup and the engage quite valuable, but Fizz and Braum it will be, so we are going to see a bit of a mix-up here from Crazy. Crazy has played a game of Fizz already this season, so it's something that we know he has in his champion pool, and he did not win with it, however. Played it against the Rocks Tigers.
Well, this could be interesting. They're hovering over the Zed, flipping back and forth, so this could just be the karma for SnowFlower. And then the last pick for the mid lane. Long hover over Kassadin. Not somebody that we see a whole lot of.
No, and you're not going to take the Zed against the Vladimir after the
Sanguine pull. Yeah, I'm going to take Kassadin, though.
Yeah, after the nerfs to Zed that happened on 6-11. Doesn't have that same amount of harassment on lane unless he hits both of his Razor Shurikens. And it will be, like you say, a Kassadin pickup here. Champion that we haven't seen in quite a while. But it has been, at times, situationally effective as a 1-3-1 split push champion because you can take the, of course, teleport on him.
I think we saw one in round 2 last split, maybe?
KT played him a few times last season. And if anybody's going to play him, though, it's going to be a player like Mickey who likes these highly mobile assassin pickups. And with Zed out, they're going to try it. And with the Null Sphere, with his Q, he's going to be able to at least get a shield up to block some of the Vladimir Q damage, transfusion damage coming in. So that should be pretty much nullified and maybe able to get some neutral trades, I would say, because he won't take damage. But he's also going to give that heal over to Vlad.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of wave clear on this Afreeca squad compared to the Sivir over on ESC.
And that's the real danger, right? They need to get a 1-3-1 split push rolling because if they are ever grouped up, the Sivir has a lot of wave clear, but actually the siege potential of ESC's composition is quite low because of the low range of the Sivir. But it is slightly better in a 5 versus 5 siege situation for ESC.
All right, well, we'll see if it works out. Afreeca looking to take us to game 3 after this one. ESC looking for their first 2-0 finish. Let's get to game 2. All right, how exciting, a Cloud Drake to kick things off.
Yep, indeed. So nobody's going to want that one early on. Now, what could SnowFlower and Sangyoon do? This should be a pretty big bully lane, considering the Sivir is not going to have really the range to abuse the Lucian. Lucian and Karma with that highly superior poke, even after a lot of people thought Lucian might have some trouble after the changes. He still has been ban or pick priority here in Korea. Many, many Lucian bans still coming through.
Yep.
Piercing Light, distance change, the 200 unit nerf, not so much.
Yeah, the Ardent Blaze
It came
as
from
well.
America to watch.
Oh, look at that.
That's what the sign said. At least what I caught of it.
Dedication.
Dedication.
Yeah, I see somebody has a sign that says San Diego, California. I've actually never been. It was one of the places in California I didn't get to go before I moved.
I don't care. Anything, you know, south of San Francisco, not my jam, Achilles. Not my jam at all. I prefer Northern California by a vast, vast margin. I'm
sure NorCal has better places, but SoCal has pretty good places to go snowboarding. But oh wow, look at this. Lindarang are going to get stunned up by the concussive blows. The TP coming on the top side. LokeN will be able to finish off for the first blood. Mickey now arriving, but Crazy's here as well. And Mickey has to flash away. So both summoners down in the mid lane. Another catastrophic start for Afreeca coming into game 2.
I'm just stunned.
So yeah, snowboarding. What were we talking about?
Stunned. I'm just stunned like I've been hit by 4 stacks of Braum's concussive blows. I might actually have a concussion after that play, Achilles. Now, to ESC's credit, they saw what Afreeca tried to do in the lane swap in game 1, and then they punched it even harder with the Braum this time.
Yep.
They tried to walk up again to push the wave to get some sort of advantage, and it just totally and utterly fails because ESC comes in through the tri-brush. And it's even worse this time for them. They actually adapted their pathing from game 1 to game 2. Remember, in the last one, they just went straight from the river to punish it.
Yeah.
This time, they go all the way around, see them in the river, they're like, oh boy, we got this. And it is just lights out. And Lindarang, I just feel bad for this guy. Rookie player, and now 2 games in a row in a massive hole because of that lane swap. Mickey TP's also into the top side, doesn't get anything out of it. Such a bad situation. He doesn't actually miss a lot of CS, looks like, so it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as it could be, and at least he's even in levels. But man, what just a train wreck of a start to this game.
Yeah.
The one thing that did happen that was okay is that Sangyoon did get more CS because they didn't have that delay, and we also saw him just immediately swap into that top side to try and, again, put some triage on this situation. But rough, extremely rough here again early for Afreeca. They overcame it to a surprising degree in the last game, though.
Yeah. And the question is, can they do that again? Because we didn't see the gold stretch beyond 3,000 at any point in the last game, and now it's already up to about 1.4 just 4 minutes in.
Well, man, it's looking grim, and the reason why it's looking even more grim than last time, it's 2 Rod of Ages champions on the side of Afreeca with Kassadin and the Swain. And like you pointed out, Achilles, these guys also have very low amounts of wave clear. So any kind of advantage can be snowballed brutally by the likes of ESC. And they can tower dive very effectively with a Fizz and a Nidalee as well. So you start to fall behind, you don't have the same amount of items, and you're buying scaling items that aren't going to have that same efficiency right after you purchase them. And there's a huge timing window available for ESC to take advantage of. It's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. Also, of course, Vlad, if he ever gets into a side lane, can just tank and then de-aggro a turret with his pool. So just with the playful trickster, with the fact that you have all this the pounce on Nidalee, there's just so many ways to get in and out from under a turret really fast.
And we see these guys just trading back and forth a little bit here. Mickey has used all of his corrupting potion charges, which means that the lane is now going to be in the hands of Tempt with that innate sustain on the Vladimir. And he's maintaining a very slight CS lead. Nothing too crazy at the moment.
All right, look at the difference between Bless and SeongHwan.
Oh yeah, I just spotted that. I was literally about to say, like, yeah, everyone's doing pretty good in CS, and I saw SeongHwan, I was just like, oh, crap. He's
been taken to school so far by Bless, and there's a reason why Nidalee was banned by Afreeca in Game 1. Bless has been showing up on this Nidalee whenever he's had an opportunity to, which hasn't been very often. It has been once this season.
Yeah.
And it was a win. It was actually their first game against CJ. They let them have it when they took the 2-0 victory over CJ Entis. So this has been certainly, with a player like Bless that has been probably the most consistent player on this roster, giving him a very top-tier power pick can result in these kind of situations. And again, SeongHwan just had nowhere to go early on. He was caught up in the shenanigans in the lane. So he wasted a lot of time trying to push out that lane and getting pushed back to his base, and Bless just took everything.
Yeah, he's been invading like crazy. Now we can see, speaking of which, trying to push in Lindarang as Bless was waiting over the wall for a spear, but they're not going to be able to find it. Crazy takes a little bit too much damage from the Decrepify, so he has to back off.
Oh my, I mean, look at SeongHwan. He's just so poor. He can't even complete his machete right now. He's losing. I don't think he has a mark because all of the Scuttlecrafts have been taken by Bless thus far. He went from bottom
one
river.
right now.
Okay, I guess he's 2 levels behind.
Oh, well, here comes Chum. The Waters in on the Lindarang. He will evade. Another interesting play, trying to get the kill on the Crazy, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Trying to get onto him. The Decrepify doing a ton of damage, but there it is, a leap forward. Had to use Crazy's flash in the end of things, but they still find the second kill of the game.
Yeah, and it's another one onto Lindarang. So the CS problem was already starting to spiral out of control on that bottom side. Now he's died yet again. Catalyst coming through here at 7.5 minutes. We'll see if and when he can actually pick up
It's just gonna
his
be,
Rod of Ages.
This is going to be happening all over again. He does use the TP to answer that wave because he did walk back the first time he got shoved out by Crazy, so he did have that Summoner spell available. But now a TP advantage is there for ESC as Crazy has his backup.
And now's the time. Make a play onto this dual lane with your incredibly strong Nidalee, 49-15. We haven't seen a CS spanking like this from a jungler since Crash last season.
Yeah. The one that was still probably more impressive was Peanut's complete buff shutout.
Okay, well, that is the one time I have ever seen that, Achilleos, just period, ever, in any game I have ever seen of League of Legends. For buffing somebody right at the start of the game and then making sure they didn't get a buff for the entirety of the game was on the next level of impressive performances from a jungler.
Yep. They need to set up some missing posters, like missing Peanut from Spring Round 2.
I know, I miss Peanut from Spring Round 2. Not sure, it looks like Rox Tigers haven't quite found out how to retool their identity yet because they look like a very different team.
Have you seen this ward? Please call. Just send my phone number at the bottom of it. SeongHwan trying to go aggressive on the Bless. Will be able to get a little bit of damage in as right now
that is bold.
Yeah, pretty much so is Tempt here. Goes in, gets down the Hemo Plague, and SeongHwan has to flash. Can't make it over the wall. Hop comes through. Spear not going to land. Throws down the Lamb's Respite. Here comes Key showing up as well. Exhausted, looks like they're going to go straight in underneath the tower. He gets taken out. Bless has the damage. Mickey on the roam out, uses the Rift Wall to get himself the safety, holds onto the flash, but this is a ton of damage coming through on this tier 1 on the mid side. Looks like they might be able to even just take this as Crazy arrives.
I love the fact that ESC has actually just sacrificed LokeN's farm to have Key roam to affect the lanes that are actually winning. Key was in the bottom lane already to help out with that kill, and now he's in the mid lane to tank up, and even LokeN says, all right, I'm just going to walk into the mid lane right now and take a turret, because they know where the advantages are. They're playing around Bless, they're playing around Crazy, and this looks like a much cleaner execution than we saw in game number 1. Already a 3,500 gold advantage at 10 minutes for ESC. But if you're SeongHwan, you cannot do that. All you have to do is press tab and look at your level, look at the items. You just can't do that. The farm differential is enormous. You are basically at half gold, 4,300 to 2,400, as we're seeing right now. Obviously a little less than half, but SeongHwan being that bold to walk up in between Tempt and Bless, and he's going to die. Oh,
poor SeongHwan. Comes in, here's Chum the Waters from Crazy, pops him up in the air, they go over the wall with the stand behind me, and Crazy will find a kill for himself on that Fizz. What a nicely played gank there by ESC.
Beautiful teleport from Crazy.
Yep.
And this is what I'm talking about. ESC just has painted a target on SeongHwan's back this game. They're like, I don't care if I have to TP out, my turret's going to take damage, and Lindarang's going to push up, and I'll lose some CS. Screw it. We're just going to tilt the new jungler. It's the game of tilt the rookie right now. They already have the mid lane turret down. Mickey is really going to be hurting to attempt to extend in this lane. And what is SeongHwan going to do? When is SeongHwan going to be relevant in this game? He's already just incredibly far behind. He's 3 levels down. 2 of the kills have gone over to Bless. Bless has his completed runic echoes compared to 2 daggers, and he has a needlessly large rod on top of that.
Yeah. This is a pretty filthy play here by ESC. Much more concise and not giving Afreeca a way back in, as you mentioned, trying to tilt.
Ah, but this happened last game too.
Not to this degree.
Yeah, not to this degree.
Not to this degree. There were significantly more mistakes by ESC even at this point in the game. So definitely looking like they've corrected those. And Afreeca is still just starting to spiral out of control with their mistakes. But yeah, giving SeongHwan the Dyrus treatment is certainly paying off so far.
I don't know if you'd call it that if he's a jungler, but yes, the dying a lot treatment, definitely huge here. And Bless's denial, just everything that has gone on so far has been very well played.
All right, giving him the bubbling treatment.
There you go.
That's fitting enough.
The bubble time.
Yeah. Okay. Crazy received the Dyrus treatment during the promotion tournament.
Yeah, he did, actually.
And then LokeN strapped him on his back and said, I will carry you.
Look at this from Crazy, too. Love the build. Phage into Executioner's Calling. So he's already... Remember, the Seastone Trident doesn't actually give the Grievous Wounds anymore from Fizz. So ever since that change happened, sure, buying an executioner calling kind of sucks this early into the game, but as long as you can cut down that healing, then you are going to be feeling pretty good about all-ins and being able to finish off the Swain.
Yep. You see Bless going back over to that dragon, going to finally be able to burn it out and take it. So Cloud Drake does go over to ESC. We're not going to see, however, what the next one is quite just yet. So it's going to be a fun little mystery.
I'm actually really sad that they removed the Grievous Wounds from Fizz's kid, because I like the fact that he was a situational counterpick against champions like Swain or Mundo, or these Maokai even, these heavy healing top laners.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, well, Mickey going to jump in on the Tempt. Throws down the Hemo Plague. Here comes Bless from the side. Does have the Riftwalk and the Flash available. Uses the former. Tempt is still just sticking to him like glue. Flash comes out, and Tempt and Bless are going to be feeling pretty good about the engagement, only losing the Ghost there.
You know you're really sad if you're Mickey, where you actually have to use your Flash to get away from the Nidalee Pounce who missed you with the spear. But the reality is the Pounce combined with the Runic Echoes is going to do so much damage right now that he would just die.
Yeah.
So that is how much respect he is paying to Bless, which is a far sight more than SeongHwan, who wants to walk in between Tempt and Bless on ESC side of the map. Absolutely amazing. I mean, 90 to 35 farm. There's also just a ton of farm in the bank right now for Bless. Bless has just been cleaning out both sides of the jungle.
Yeah. We see Lindarang's going to have another late Rod of Ages. 2 stacks on for Mickey's, and he's got both items required to complete it. Probably has the gold. Just has to find an opportunity to back. Crazy's doing his now, so that should be... No, he canceled it, so maybe just going to try to keep Lindarang in lane as long as he can.
And this is the game.
Oh. Oops. It's a Mountain Drake.
It is Mountain Drake, where we're going to see how big Bless's balls are. What is he going to build with this needlessly large rod? How hard does he think he can carry right now? Because there is risk, right? Jumping into a Swain.
It's probably a Ryze.
I hope he does. No need to do anything
well,
really
Chum the
crazy.
Waters comes down. Nice dodge there by Crazy to get away from the never move. TP's going to come in throw from Mickey as they try to turn this one around. Crazy takes a bunch of damage, has to flash away. I don't think Mickey can really chase in too far, but they have a wave here, and they should be able to take down this tower. Bless is going to try to throw some spears to dissuade it. It's a good chunk onto the Swain, but this thing is still going to go down.
They're collapsing onto him, though. The Vladimir is coming. They should just fight this, actually.
Yeah, well, Crazy's still low, has his TP, so he's looking for the recall to come back in and rejoin his team. Yep. Has that pink ward that he can come into the top of the river. That's going to be the channel coming through right now as they try to find the pinch. They get the slow into Mickey with the Winter's Bite. Here comes Crazy. Chum the Waters not available, however, but they will get the concussive blow stun right after he gets the Rift Walk. The spear not going to connect, and the kite back underneath of their own tower, and ESC cannot push this any further.
Wow, it was so close to being a big win there for ESC. Had one more of those spears connected from Bless. That may well have been a kill. Mickey escaping by the skin of his teeth, and they commit a lot into that bottom side. TP coming through from Crazy. I think they waited too long. I think they could have punished them, even though Crazy was low. He could have recalled, and they could have started the fight, and then Crazy could have come in on that TP instead of them waiting for him to recall.
Yeah. Well, opted to play it safe in the end. They're just going to lose the flash on the Vladimir and the TP on the Fizz, so advantage goes over to the side of Afreeca. But Lindarang, question is, does he have an opportunity that he could take to actually use that teleport to gain an advantage? We can see on the hunt top tier up in the top side as Key goes in onto SnowFlower. TP's going to be matched. Here comes Lindarang. Cullen gets used trying to whittle down Key, but Bless is here to back up his team.
Man, some of these spears have been a pixel away from actually landing on their targets. Very close indeed. But again, Bless comes up just a little bit short, so he hasn't been able to really add to his score. He will be going for that Ryze mercifully.
He's also going for a Flame Horizon.
On the jungle, which we have seen from Crash. Crash, the Nidalee farming god from Longju. I'm really sad we haven't seen Crash this year because he's such an interesting jungler to watch. And
it's all Chaser.
It is all Chaser this time. Going with the veteran player. Crash definitely has shown some very wild moments, but that's part of the fun of watching Crash play. So you're like, Crash, are you really going to do that? And then he does it, and you're like, wow, Crash, you just got 2-3 kills in the early game from an incredibly ballsy play. And then he's like, but now I'm going to walk into their jungle and die. I'm like, okay then. Interesting turnaround. You looked really smart there for a second, then looked really dumb immediately thereafter.
With every choice, a consequence, Monty. Oh, but dive onto Lindarang. The Chum the Waters does not connect. Crazy tanking up this turret. They'll dodge out the never move. Tempt's coming in as well now. taking the aggro, has the Sanguine pool available, but Lindarang with a wave there is just sustaining like a madman. Crazy barely gets out of range of the turret, however, and Tempt will find the kill. 5-0 here so far for ESC, but that was pretty sloppy.
It was sloppy, but the reality is that you're never, even on a Swain, going to survive a Fizz Nidalee flat dive.
Yeah.
There's too many ways for them to easily drop the aggro that punishing them for staying too long is virtually impossible.
Yep, that's going to be the turret going down as well, as we move to a 5,000 gold lead here for ESC. Just need to tighten up a couple of these bolts and they can close this out one fairly cleanly. The tier 1 will be matched in the top side though, so they do bounce back a little bit of that gold, but overall ESC still in a really strong spot.
Crazy is going for Trinity Force. Oh, really, Crazy? Oh, really? We have not seen...
This is old build.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Trinity Force Fizz build at all this season.
Yeah.
It's all been tank builds with Sunfire and Iceborne.
Yeah.
This
going
is
for the classic.
Yeah, definitely going for the classic. Except with the new Trinity Force, which, you know, when you think about it, is actually better suited to Fizz's kit. Fizz didn't really benefit that much from the move speed or the crit. The fact that he gets 20% CDR, much more valuable.
Yep. Oh, well, Tempt's going to go into the Sanguine pool. That tether does still connect. He throws out the Hemoplague as Mickey jumps into his face. He's got the sustain, and here comes Bless the Spear. Yet again, not going to connect.
These are good spears that Bless is throwing. They're just being dodged very slightly by the likes of Afreeca.
Yeah. He's been doing a pretty good job. Didn't go for the very ballsy build. Opted for the Ryze.
Yeah,
so keep it consistent.
I'm happy about that. Yeah. Well, you're already super powerful. Don't try and do something nuts and end up losing your team the game. Because again, he does have the possibility to get bursted down by the Kassadin. Of course, if he goes in and the Lamb's Respite comes up and he's just in the middle of the Swain ult, it gets really ugly. So don't go for a very squishy build here. Go for something that's going to give you that survivability and provide CC for your teammates, because in the late game, you need this Vlad and this Sivir to do work. And if you come and keep ganking this lane against the Swain, then just get some CC, because the Fizz is a little bit lacking in that category.
Yep. I'd like to see how many stacks SeongHwan has since the change on the Q, because now you get that +5 to the Q damage for every stack of the passive, and I feel like he's got no more than 3 right now.
Well, as we can see, because the Kindred mark is still on the Rift Scuttler, because now that changes actually depending on how many stacks he has, it means he has 0 to 2 marks.
Wow.
Otherwise, it would be going to the Krugs.
Looking good. Never move, not going to connect. There's Crazy flashes away.
So Mickey's here to stare aggressively at...
I'm going to catch you eventually.
Crazy's behind.
Yeah.
SeongHwan is going to make a cross-map play. You cannot do that Dragon right now, SeongHwan, if your 2 solo laners are in the top side.
Bless also has a 2-level advantage, so he will just outsmite him.
I mean, you can't be there, so at least he left. But that was super risky of him. That could have been very bad. And he also can't defend this blue buff. SeongHwan, please.
It's like, no, it's okay, I have the damage, but here comes a teleport and Tempt from the backside, and SeongHwan throws down the Lamb's Respite. Has nowhere to go, and it's just an inevitability of his death as he goes down. Bless finds the kill. Javelin not going to connect on the SnowFlower, who Tempt is chasing so very closely, but the shield comes through, keeping him alive. But the same cannot be said for Lindarang, who still falls under the pressure of ESC. We have all 5 members piled up into this jungle, so now bringing the scoreline to 7-0.
SeongHwan knew that he shouldn't have been at that Dragon, and he knew that Mickey's TP was down. So defending the blue buff right there was really a non-starter for him, and he just had to go to the topside jungle and try and pick up what scraps he could. I think he's just trying to desperation plays right now because he knows he's getting absolutely styled on.
SeongHwan he looks like a gazelle right now. And he's just so clueless that he's surrounded by lions. And he's just trying to go to the watering hole. He's like, yeah, everything's fine. And then suddenly they just collapse on top of him and they rip him to shreds.
Well, we've seen 2 different, I think that's an apt analogy, and we've seen 2 very different SeongHwans. He was actually one of the better players on Afreeca in Game 1. I thought his team fighting on Kindred was, except for that last Lamb's Respite that he missed, but his positioning to get the the Ruinous Hurricane procs off was quite good. This game, though, has been an absolute nightmare. partly not from his own doing, but his team's strategy forced the flash there, but from the strategy of that lane swap, they showed the same kind of swap 2 games in a row. It was punished in game 1, and then it was absolutely smashed to smithereens in game number 2.
Yeah. I have to give credit where credit is due. That analogy came to my head from Baba Smithy, who said that it looked like a nature documentary when SKT took down MVP. So I kind of had that in the back of my mind.
Unspeakable things happening.
Not trying to steal anyone's jokes. So proper accreditation goes out.
Cool. Well, plus...
Always cite your sources, guys.
That's right. Valuable advice for casting and for college.
Yeah.
Don't want to get you expelled for plagiarism.
You know, I actually failed my public speaking course because I miscited one thing. So my teacher let me do my entire thesis speech, which was about esports growing and like legitimacy as a sport. She let me do the entire thing. The class loved it. And then she was just like, oh yeah, by the way, you failed. Just like, oh, okay.
See, I would have guessed that you failed your public speaking for very different reasons.
Ouch. Rough. Man, is it hot here for anybody else? I don't know. I suddenly building a sweat.
I feel like you really set me up for that one.
No, I did. I handed it to you on a silver platter, much like Afreeca is handing this win over.
It was a low-hanging fruit. So what source didn't you cite, Achilles?
I forget exactly what it was. I can't remember. It was so. I mean, this was years ago now, but it was just like one little thing that I didn't cite, and she was just like, "Well, you're done. You're out." And I was like, "All right, I will see you never." And I just never went back to college.
That's a pretty dramatic exit.
Yeah. I didn't have a mic to drop. It was attached to the podium. I guess I could have like smacked it, but.
Well, Bless has decided to go for the Lich Bane in this game.
Yes, he has, and he completes it.
Yep. Picks it up. Of course, the burst is going to be useful, but more importantly, because as long as he continues to make plays on any lane, they're going to get kills because of his diving potential under the turret. If Afreeca is split up, so in these skirmishes, if they win a skirmish, they can transition it immediately into tower damage,
yep.
Which is fantastic, but again, does leave him to be a little bit squished here. Of course, so any kind of 5v5, he might be punished, just maybe. Crazy now with the Banshee's Veil, go along with his Trinity Force and Grievous Wound Stick. Oh, it's worked pretty well.
Yep. Crazy just getting some damage down onto Lindarang. You can see that Spectre's Cal not doing a whole lot for him. He still takes a ton of damage.
He is pretty poor.
That he is. And we're 25 CS away from that Flame Horizon in the jungle.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get that this
Yeah, it's
game,
probably not going to stretch to there, but just somebody just go sacrifice a wave or two to play so I can see it. Oh, Tempt going to engage onto Mickey here. And he's just saying, you know what, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with this one. TP's back out.
Yeah, he didn't have any wards. Look how deep the wards are in the jungle from Afreeca.
Yeah.
So because he didn't have any wards behind the pit or in the tri-brush, he had no idea where the other members were. He didn't actually have to TP that. He could have just rift walked out, but he didn't know that.
Yeah. You know you're in such a pet spot when that's what has to happen. Another blue buff getting taken away as well. And this is looking pretty surgical by ESC.
They haven't given up a kill yet, to their credit. And
two towers, so
yeah,
no perfect game.
No perfect game for ESC. But it'll feel good to take another 2-0 victory, considering the drought of 4 consecutive losses after their initial best-of-3 win.
Yep.
And Afreeca made a decision. They made a decision to start Lindarang and SeongHwan again over Ixu and Lyra. And I don't really know the meaning or the logic, the reasoning behind that decision, as SeongHwan is just going to die. Oh, no, he's not.
Well, no. The rest of his team is there. Still have those Karma shields available, but Crazy still works him down pretty low. Didn't have to use his flash or anything to get out of that one. So just free damage onto the Kindred. And it's going to be another Cloud Drake. Keeping things exciting.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd use Lindarang and SeongHwan here. Certainly you want your new players to get some experience in the booth, start developing the talent on your roster. But after game number 1, actually, you know what? I understand the reasoning. Kilios. I think what they said was, all right, that lane swap went really badly. You guys still played well late for the most part.
Yeah.
It was a very even game in the late game. Maybe if we don't have a lane swap that goes disastrously wrong, we're going to have the better decision making. Unfortunately, they did, in fact, have a lane swap that went basically more disastrously wrong.
Yeah.
Although it wasn't that, it was bad for Lindarang, but this game because they gave over the Nidalee and then SeongHwan was stuck in that engagement early. Basically, Bless just took all of his jungle and then never let him have it again, which is honestly just great pressure play here from Bless. Constantly punishing that one mistake early, and ESC, for the most part, has played a pretty clean game of League of Legends.
Yeah. He's been doing a hell of a job, and he said Lindarang, like, I do understand Lindarang did a pretty good job on that Swain. They're going to try to get on the Sangyoon. Do get some blows. Glacial Fissure beautifully aimed by Key. They will find the kill as Bless comes in to take that one away. Flash over the wall by SnowFlower, but that's going to be the hero play coming through. Mickey, one shot away from getting stunned up, will be able to retreat out with the Rift Walk, but two members down the bot lane of Afreeca gone. That's a Baron startup here for the side of ESC.
Yeah, really good setup there from the likes of Afreeca, landing the concussive blows off of the Winter's Bite, and then the follow-up. Key also just getting a great ultimate at the end of the stun for the knock-up.
Yep.
Bless coming in, hopping over multiple objectives, committing to the flash after he landed the spear onto SnowFlower to finish off that kill inside the red pit. So easy Baron right thereafter. This is really well played by ESC, actually.
Yeah, they knew as soon as they got that first Winter's Bite, that was it.
Yep.
Sangyoon just kiting back toward the lane was really bad.
Great Glacial Fissure, spear into the pounce, so Bless gets that one. Dodges out on the never move, another one. Commits for the flash right there, even gets the hit onto Mickey. And he almost was able to get a triple kill there to come in and finish this one off.
Yeah. Now Baron-empowered minions here for the side of ESC as they're going to be looking to knock down these remaining Tier 2 towers and get their hands on those inhibitors.
I love what Bless is doing. He's getting to the GA next. He knows he's got so much money that he can afford defensive stats. So he is just committing to going in. Now he's just going to say, okay, well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to hit like a truck with my Lich Bane in the 5 versus 5. And if you kill me, if you CC me, I'm just going to come back and do it again.
Yep.
So there's just not enough damage now to kill him twice. And he should be scot-free even in these 5 versus 5 engagements. I really like this build, but only because he is super far ahead. Obviously, this is really dumb if you're even or behind.
Yeah. Very situational, but this is the perfect time for it.
Yeah, I didn't even think he'd make a decision like that, but smart, very smart.
And now the push coming in on the top side as Bless joins Crazy. SeongHwan's here to try to keep this turret alive. Lindarang still has a decent amount of wave clear when the wave is clubbed up like that, so he is able to hold on to the Tier 2 for the time being, but you'd be damn sure that ESC are not going to back off of that objective quite just yet.
ESC, again, not the best siege composition, so it is a little bit tough for them to crack the base even with this Baron.
Yeah, Lindarang still pretty sustained heavy there with that Swain, so keeps himself alive with the wave.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that Lindarang, if they were grouped up, he couldn't just walk in front of the wave like that and clear it with his ultimate.
Yeah.
But because they're split, he has that opportunity. But if they were grouped up, Sivir has to walk up to the turret and be in a quite dangerous position against a Kassadin and a Swain, get jumped on,
Hey,
potentially.
Guess what?
Chicken butt.
The Flame Horizon is the Flame Horizon has arrived.
It has, the jungle Flame Horizon.
Chicken butt, really?
Yeah, gotta throw it out there. I didn't know where you were going for.
Well, this is good. This is a good sign here for ESC.
Yes, Bless totally wrecking somebody is a good sign. But
I don't think...
again, really what impressed me the most about this game, out of an impressive game, honestly, from ESC, was the fact that they went and they adapted that level 1. They said, if there's a lane swap, we're changing our pathing, just in case they do that stuff again that they did.
Yep.
Just trying to push the wave very early with the top laner and the jungler. And again, I do understand why Afreeca did that. If you can push that wave, you get a really big advantage in the tempo of the lane swap. But they got caught out once, and then they got double caught out the second time and actually gave up that kill.
Well, definitely need to have that adaptability if they want to take down KT on Saturday. So just 2 days away from that one. So definitely have a little bit of time to get their heads together and figure out how they want to approach that matchup. Which, if they play to this sort of level, I don't think Les is going to get Nidalee, but if they play to this sort of level with cohesion, they might be able to find some success.
Yeah, the difference is that playing against SeongHwan and playing against Score are very different beasts.
Yes.
Score has actually been having a very good season so far.
SeongHwan has had a really bad 3 games. He got to throw the Glacial Fissure as he gets that fadeaway flash. It looks like it's just going to be the disengage.
I actually think SeongHwan did well in game 1. He did what he could to salvage the situation. He actually did prop up Lindarang, and he did play the team fights well. So this game, he was just overwhelmed by the Nidalee pick. And this is why we see Nidalee banned nearly every game, is because if this happens, there's almost no way to stop it.
I just wonder why they didn't go for it. I guess just maybe not comfortable on that pick because it doesn't go through and he hasn't played that many games. But they had their opportunity to take it away, and they just decided to go for the Kindred instead.
They picked it. You're absolutely right.
Well, double inhibitor going to go down the bot mid side. ESC are just continuing this onslaught. Never move, not going to connect. Tempt is still pretty safe. Crazy's just going to take out that pick and jump over the wall. That looks like that could just be a Mountain Drake going over to ESC. It'd be their second one.
It'd be very helpful for them, considering their siege is not the best, so closing out this game. And if they want to go for another Baron, a minute and a half, they'll be able to burn that objective down extremely quickly, too. So, what is it going to be for Bless? Void Staff?
I think so. Because otherwise you'd probably just hold out for the needlessly large rod if you wanted the death cap.
Yeah.
So more than likely
still
the Void Staff.
Still farming, so he's going to clear out his jungle before committing to recall. Goes and grabs the wolves.
Yep, it's a Void Staff. Well, he does all the damage now.
Yeah, and it's not very much magic resist. Mickey, super vulnerable. LokeN going to do some work on behalf of SnowFlower, but he's got double shields there with the LokeN active and Arma's kit. It's just going to be very difficult right now. 50 seconds to play with here for ESC as they move in with their 2 Mountain Drakes onto the masturbating inhibitor turret in this base.
See if they're able to hold on. They still have calling available from Sangyoon, making it a jump forward. They have a TP coming on the backside from Lindarang. Tempt up in the front side, going to get locked up a bit, taken down below half HP. But they're just going to turn straight onto the Swain, who just now gets the Zonias off. He will be able to sustain up a little bit, tries to flash away, but the Lamb's Respite is going to be there to save him. Tempt as well has to stick around on this one. Huge heal comes through from the Hemoplague, and he is just going to start ripping through members of Afreeca. 3 going down. Just SeongHwan and SnowFlower left alive. Super Creeps coming in. This is going to be the end of the game at 36 minutes. ESC 2-0 over top of the Afreeca Freecs.
That's right, and actually Key played that last team fight really well.
Yes.
He turned on to Lindarang immediately, then repositioned with the stand behind me and the Unbreakable to actually stop the culling. And a big part of why that last team fight was won. Lindarang found a place to engage because they didn't sweep out or put pinks behind them. Could have been dangerous even with their deficit, but Key plays it really, really well.
Yep. Beautifully played in that second game there. ESC definitely having a night and day transition between not only just game 1 and 2, but also just their other sets.
Well, they did actually play really well against CJ, so we've seen that inconsistency. When they look on, they look on. But this is also in Afreeca fielding 2 substitute rookie players, so let's not read too much into this. They keep this kind of performance up against KT, then we can be impressed. But a much-needed win.
Yeah, I'm with the Vladimir. Mickey did a lot of damage, but it just wasn't that evident because it was just chip damage here and there in the fights. Nothing really